So I would like everybody to affirm with me, please. I am awake. I am alert. I am alive. We're going to do it again. I am awake. I'm alert. And I'm alive. And one more time. I am awake. I'm alert. And I'm alive. My dear friend, Reverend Beverly Craig from the La Crescenta Center said she got an opportunity to meet Dr. Joseph Murphy. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him, but he was from Divine Science, and he was kind of the beginning, startings of, he knew Ernest Holmes very well and used to speak at the Wiltern Theater. Our own Reverend Camille Carter. How many remember Reverend Camille? Reverend Camille studied with Dr. Joseph Murphy for a while before she came to Science of Mind. At any rate, Dr. Joseph Murphy said to Reverend Beverly, whenever you're doing an affirmation, repeat it 3 times because that's what helps impregnate your mind with the thought and helps produce that. So I love that. I go, oh my gosh, how have I gone my whole life and not heard that before? So, sometimes when we say things 3 times, it kind of sinks in. So it's been said that how we set up the day is very important. I don't know how many of you have a ritual of starting in the morning, but a lot of times in this teaching, what it encourages us to do is before you even get out of bed, or when you're just waking up and say you're making your bed, or whatever it is you're doing, to set a tone for the day is to set like an intention in where you want to focus and where you want to have your day go. And sometimes setting that tone actually creates the experience, right? Because what we set out there to do, what we make up our mind of how the day is, that's generally how it goes. If say you had a victim mentality, the moment you have a victim mentality, the rose-colored glasses you have on is that you're a victim. So then everything that you encounter, it supports your idea that you're a victim, because that's what your mentality is. So the opposite is true as well, is the moment you come from a positive sense that you are a successful, free human being that's doing all kinds of great things, those are the glasses that you look through, and that's what creates in your experience. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not experiencing things happening in our life, because as long as we're here on earth in this earth suit, that's what we're here to do, is to learn lessons to help our soul growth, right? But everything is always geared towards enlightenment. So if we look at it and say, oh, you know what, this day is going to be, I know Reverend Valerie says it's the best day ever. If we say, you know what, I'm alert, I'm awake, and I'm alive, and I am ready for grand new experiences, and all things are working out for good for me today, boy, it already sets the tone like that's what you're going to be looking for. Because no matter what we're doing, whatever we're looking for, it shows up, doesn't it? It shows up. That's why they say, when you've lost something, you say, there's nothing lost in mine. It's just hiding out there somewhere, waiting for me to discover it. So it's the same with our good. The only reason we are here is to love. Everybody with me on that? The only reason we're here is to love. And not only love, but support each other as well. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't some people in our experience that are challenging. Have you ever met anyone in your life that can be a little challenging? And so what happens is, if you look at them as a challenge, guess what? It gets worse, doesn't it? It gets worse. But if we look at that as, oh my gosh, look at the gift this person is giving me, to open up my mind and see things differently, and to love the spots off them, even though they're being a pain in the neck towards me, right? Because that's what it's about. It's about love. And the moment we put love as the main ingredient in our experience, that's what comes back to us, even if sometimes there is a challenge. Okay, so far I'm not talking about anything that I've written down on this piece of paper, but that's okay. You'll see I scribbled notes when I was at a stoplight because I thought, oh, yes, that's a better idea. I'm going to say that instead. So there you go. Our pure objective is to heal our consciousness. Our pure objective for being at life is to heal our consciousness. Now, what the heck does that mean? It means that whatever thoughts that we have, they are creating our experience. So if the experience that's showing up for us isn't to our liking, The only thing we do is go back to, what am I thinking about that experience? How am I making a judgment about something, and where could I shift that? Where can I change that energy? And what that requires, though, is taking a deep look inside and thinking about, what am I doing? Why aren't things happening the way I want it to? I wrote here, we want to create the kind of consciousness that will not support any adverse conditions, okay? So for facing adverse conditions, we have to say, okay, but where's my consciousness supporting that? If we're encountering some kind of a situation that we feel like is holding us back, or if someone's treating us negatively, or whatever that is, we can't look to the outside condition to blame that condition. We have to look at, what is it that I'm thinking that is allowing that to be? I love Reverend Kathy has a great analogy. She said, if someone walked up to you and said, I think your blue hair looks ridiculous. Well, you don't have blue hair, so it wouldn't bother you, right? It doesn't bother you because you don't have blue hair. But if they come up to you and say other things that are maybe evident about you, you'll start to feel really defensive about those things. But guess what? If we can let all those things just roll off our back, just roll off like rolling off a duck's back, because he's waterproof. I love that, ducks are waterproof. But if we let that happen, guess what? We just move on to our experience and say, you're just something, nothing trying to be something. You're just nothing trying to be something. Remember, our desires are our guideposts to our life. In Science of Mind, we learn that all things are born of directed thought. If that's true, if it's true, God always has our highest intentions in mind, then how can anything go wrong? If God always has our highest intention in mind, how can anything go wrong? Well, life may take a detour from the way we've planned for ourselves, but it illustrates that there's a difference between the human plan and God's plan. So if things start to go south in our life, is it God's fault? No, it's the thought that we're putting into what's happening that creates that experience. So what we want to do is we want to change the direction that we've sent our thought. Now here's the thought I got while I was driving at the red light at Crenshaw. So we have a particular idea about ourselves, and I was thinking about this and I couldn't word it right, and then all of a sudden it came to me. And it said, you have an idea of yourself, who you are in the world and how you operate, etc. And that's called our persona. But the moment that we can let go of our persona for a greater image, let go of what we've thought about ourselves and let it go for a greater image, things begin to shift. And what made me think of this is my ash trees. I have 2 ash trees on my property. One's in the front and one's in the back. And they are 40 feet tall. They're huge. But they're very different kind of trees. And when I moved in, everybody's like, oh, where do you get to know these trees? I'm like, I love trees. I hug trees all the time. I hug the tree in my back. I don't hug the one in my front yard because I think all my neighbors would see me. But in the back, that one gets a lot of hugs. But they're interesting in that, in the fall, most trees drop their leaves like in October, September, October, maybe November. These trees drop their leaves in January, right? So they're full-fledged leaves in December, maybe end of December, and this year it was like towards the end of December, because I remember around New Year's they started to drop. And I'm talking, they drop a bazillion leaves. I mean, I had piles, giant piles. And so did my neighbors. They're all like, oh, your trees are losing their leaves again, are they? Because everybody's got my leaves on their lawns. But that's okay, we all share. But so they drop their leaves, but then what happens is very interesting, because then, a normal tree would just be barren and for a little while, and it sits in this kind of hibernation phase, and then it produces leaves, right? Not ash trees. They produce these little things that are they're like little baby pods, and I don't know how to describe it, but they've got little growths on them. And they're filled with ash, like green ash. So they drop those pods, and it's like ash everywhere, but it's like a yellowy green, right? And then from there, the little baby leaves are born out. And I thought, what an interesting thing that tree knows exactly what to do. It knows exactly what to do. It doesn't go, I don't know, is this the ash time, or when am I supposed to drop my leaves? No, it drops its leaves exactly when it's supposed to. It forms those little pods when it's supposed to, and it creates the leaves. There's tons of leaves now. And it's like it happened overnight, because yesterday it was a bunch of pods, and today I'm like, holy cow, there's 1 million leaves on the tree now. And I thought, that's nature. Nature follows a particular way, and it knows what to do. And it's the same with us. When we're in our persona, maybe we're not always following our nature, but our nature is always about growth, right? It's always about expanding our consciousness and growing into that light and that sense of greater than. And the moment that we allow that to happen and get out of our own way with going, well, no, the way I see myself is this, the second we let go of that, pardon me, and let our natural expansion happen, things change right away for the good. We live according to what excuse me, I wrote that while I was driving. Sorry, I couldn't read my own handwriting. We live according to what proves our point. It's the same with the person I was giving the example of living as a victim or living as a great successful person. We live according to what proves our point. So what happens is we gravitate towards people that maybe have the same mentality as we do, or we gravitate towards relationships that might not honor our highest good because our sense of our highest good isn't so up to par yet, right? So we seek out the things that prove the points about ourselves that we think. So the idea is the greater you think of yourself, right, then those things will happen. That's why we say, I'm awake, I'm alert, I'm alive, and you go out in the day because that's what you're looking for. That's what your focus is. And the moment you have that focus, it will appear. So in seeking out the things that will prove our point, we have to pay attention to what are we attracting into our experience. You know, is it something that's honoring who we are, or is it something that's kind of holding us back? We want to develop a consciousness that knows we are always greater than any condition that we are living with, and that we are never beyond the possibility of complete healing or triumph of any kind. That is God thinking. We're never beyond the ability to create whatever experience we want. If it's perfect health, if it's abundance, if it's the ideal relationship, it's creative expression, it's the perfect employment, whatever it is, we have to know that we live in a universe that supports us, but only to the level at which we can expand and accept it. So if we're not seeing ourselves as that successful person, it has a more difficult time to show up. Or if it does show up, we're going to turn it away because you go, oh, you know, I'm just not qualified to do that job. Are you kidding? That's way out of my league. I couldn't do that. Or are you kidding? You know, have you ever, I was reading an article early this morning about Tom Brady. And, you know, that one gal was talking about when she first started dating him, she was like, oh my God, I'm with this really handsome guy. And she's thinking, and of course she felt worthy enough, but have you ever thought of, oh, I couldn't date that person because they're just so much cooler than I am, or they're so much better than I am, or whatever it is. Oh, I couldn't drive that car. People make judgments about people in those types of cars. I don't know. I was riding next to a spiffy little bright yellow Lexus today, a two-door Lexus. I have no idea what it was. It didn't say on the back. It just said the L for Lexus. And the guy's plates were Dr. Swim. Right, so he must, who knows what that meant, but who knows what that meant. But at any rate, it was a really cool car, and I thought, boy, that takes a lot of guts to drive a bright yellow car like that. I don't even know if anybody remembers. Does anybody remember Herb? He was a practitioner, and he pulled in one time, and he had bought a bright copper-colored car. Everybody flocked around him and said, that's so cool, Herb. You're so cool doing that. And he was like, I feel so special driving this car. And he was a special man, very special man. And everybody loved that he drove that car. So it's like, are we willing to be the person that we want to be in that greater step? Or are we shying away and saying, no, don't give me that? Our pure objective is to heal our consciousness. Remember that. Our pure objective is just to heal our consciousness, to say, where is it that I've put the stopgap on myself that I can let go of? And I know I've shared this before, but it is true. You know, when you're with your friend and you hear them talking smack about themselves, you're like, oh, snap out of it. That's not a word of truth about you at all. We're so good at calling our friends on it, right? And saying, oh, come on now. I don't know that about, I know you're much stronger than that. And you're like, oh, really? Right? Are we saying those same things to ourselves? Are you still waking up in the mirror and looking at it and saying, I love you, I really love you? Are you saying, I'm stronger than anything that I'm faced with right now, and no matter what it is, again, it's nothing trying to be something and not let it happen. So we forget that we're in charge of our lives, and sometimes we let those conditions out there determine what direction we're going to go or how far we're going to expand. And believe me, if we're in relationships, or if we're in any kind of situation that doesn't allow us to expand to be ourselves, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it to stay in that and play small and not play to the height of where I want to be? Let's see here. You and I are the only ones that have to change. I know there are some people in my life, I think if only they would change, my life would be so much smoother. I don't know about you, but I do think that. I do think that. I had a neighbor once that was really disturbing to me, and I kept thinking, oh gosh, if that guy would just move away, the whole neighborhood would be so much happier, right? No. I had to bless that person, and I had to see him in his highest light, and knowing that, hey, you're giving me a gift. You're waking me up to being compassionate, to being empathetic, and maybe even knowing what I never want to do, behavior I never want to elicit, right? But the thing is that I have to bless that person for the gift that they give me. The second I do that, what happened? He cooled it. He cooled it. He was done. Now, a little while ago, at one of the services, I was reading through some of my own talks because I need to hear them. I need to listen to my own talks. There was one that I talked about the Beatitudes. And if you remember, the Beatitudes were I believe it was 7. I said, during 8 blessings that Jesus said on the Sermon on the Mount. And the one that I loved was, blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. And I always thought, oh boy, that counts me out. Blessed are the pure of heart, you're going to see God. But what that actually means is, pure of heart means see it from a God point of view. See it from the sense of perfection. Not looking at your imperfections, but see it from the sense of perfection of saying, you know what? When I lift my consciousness, when I take my mind off the problem and I put it on God, right? When I lift my consciousness, that's seeing with God eyes. That's seeing through the perfection of God, which is how we're meant to see. When we initiate that power and let it be in our experience, everything begins to shift. So it's that old saying that there's nothing I need to do, but there is something that I need to know. And it's that raised consciousness of saying, you know what? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. And the kingdom of heaven means go up to that higher spot. Go to that higher consciousness, no matter what you're facing, and say, you know what? All things are possible with this. Let's see here. Your good comes to you as you become aware of your capacity to create it. Your good comes to you as you become aware of your capacity to create it. So the moment you believe that you can create something wondrous in your experience, it happens because you believe in it. Enter the God box. I'm going to give it a little show and tell here. Our lovely Ruth Wagner painted these lovely God boxes. And somewhere along the line, my God box lost its bottom. God forbid. One of my cats went and knocked it right off the counter, and away it went. So here's the God box. And it's beautifully painted, and my goal is someday Ruth Wagner will have painted these and we'll have them for sale in the bookstore. So know that with me. But the purpose of a God box is to take whatever issue du jour is going on with you and put it in the box and say, God's handling it. It's God's got it. It's in the box. I remember Dr. Frank had a beautiful saying that said, when you write something down and you leave it on the kitchen counter, so every time throughout the day, if your mind goes back to that thought, you go, oh, sorry, that's right, I left it on the kitchen counter. It's not with me right now. And what it's done, it's created a distance, right? It's created a gap so that it gives you a little space, right? So you have to take your mind off of it right now. And that's why it's very interesting that our lovely Diane gave me this book this morning, this booklet, and we will probably have some more of these in the bookstore eventually, The Golden Key. So the whole point of that is you take your mind off the problem and you put your mind on God. Now, why do you do that? Why do you do that? Because that old Einstein thing that we can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. We can't solve the problem at the level of the problem. So if you're worried and concerned and stressing out and overthinking and not sleeping and all that kind of good stuff, it ain't going to come. The answer isn't going to come. It has no room to fit in there because you're already filled up with the thoughts of it's not going to happen. So the idea is to let it go, surrender it over, very important, let it go and surrender it over and say, you know what? I know that God's handling this. And I can't figure out how it's going to work. I don't have to. I'm just knowing that God's handling it. And all we do is make ready in our consciousness. And we let that be. Oh, have you ever had a thought, you keep mulling it over in your mind over and over again? You keep thinking, well, I should have said this, and I wish I would have done that, and why did I go that route? I was thinking about it this morning because it's been taking longer and longer to get to Redondo Beach, and it's really only 40 miles, but 2 hours to go 40 miles. You go, wow. Well, guess what? There are some other routes to take. And I have not taken those. And I thought about that. I go, oh, gosh, I'm like the horse going back to the barn. I keep taking the same route and going, why hasn't this changed? And I thought, maybe I'm supposed to change and go a different route. Could be. Never know. But if you have mull over ideas, like I should have done this, it's a waste of time. Our mind is always listening to us. We have the best audience in our mind. Our mind is always listening to us. So those ideas that we keep ruminating in our head, those are coming up, and the consciousness is going, oh, really? And then supplanting it into the subconsciousness, and then we start to build on that. We start to develop these thoughts that have gone south only because we kept ruminating over them. So the key to living your greatest life is to break free from your beliefs that are sabotaging your success. Doesn't that sound easy, right? Doesn't that sound, oh, of course, that's all you have to do, right? We get what we want by becoming it. So what that means is we take time to visualize, to think about what it is that we really do want to create in our experience. Where do we really want to go? What are things that will make us feel alert, awake, and alive? What are those things that are going to bring us home to this lovely feeling of feeling so energized and so radiant and so excited about life, right? Rather than going, oh, I got to go to my job again. Oh, God, I got to go deal with that relationship again. Let all that stuff go and say, what's feeding me that could be really so beneficial and so valuable and that you can share with other people? Because going back to our original thought, the only reason we're here is for love. And the only reason we're also here is to support each other through love. That's all it is. That's the big secret to creating what we want, that we get what we want. Oh, I wanted to share one other thing. I don't know where it is, but it's saying that God doesn't heal us. He doesn't heal us of illness. He doesn't heal us of lack of abundance. It doesn't heal us of anything. God doesn't heal us. What heals us is our consciousness. Right? Our consciousness of awareness that I'm a co-creator with God. And again, God can only create at the level that I'm at. So the moment that I step into the oneness of the power of God, the oneness of mind, and become allowing that filter to filter through my thoughts and to say, you know what? God and I are a majority, and I'm now going to think with new thoughts. I don't know what they're going to be. I don't have to figure it out. But I'm just saying, God, I'm allowing the guidance to open up for me. And the moment that we do that, things will shift because we recreate new thoughts in our experience. So with that, I want you to affirm with me again. I am awake. I am alert. I am alive. And I am ready for great and wondrous and jubilant and radiant and joyous experiences to happen right now. I let it be so, and we affirm, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. I call that the AAA. I was looking at my AAA card, and that's what inspired me. I'm like, oh, I know what AAA stands for. I don't think that company knows that yet, but that's okay. So this is the time of the sharing of our good, and so I invite you to take your treasure in your palm of your hands, or your paws, whatever you want to call them, and let's know together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Thank you. And now we're going to do a short guided meditation to solidify our alert, awake, and alive. We'll give Ruth a little minute, and I know that Grant's going to put on some dreamy music. It sure feels like winter this morning, doesn't it? I don't know what it was. I woke up, it was 34 degrees in Glendale. That's pretty chilly. It's pretty chilly. Okay. So let's just close our eyes and take a deep breath in. Excuse me. Just breathing in, and allow that chair to support you. You're going into complete relaxation. Just aware of the presence and the energy in this sanctuary and of all the people around you, even all the little animals that are around you. And as you breathe in, picture that breath coming up through the bottom of your feet and moving up through your body, through every bone in your feet and your ankles and your knees and your hips, up your spine, your shoulders, up the back of your head, and then circling back around. See it come back down through Mother Earth. And then again, breathe in, and this time see that breath coming from very deep within the earth. And as it comes up through the bottom of your feet, as it moves up, see it moving through every muscle, every atom, every cell of your body, up your legs and your knees and your spine. And as it goes up there, it's like enlivening every aspect of your body, awakening it to its presence of God within. And as it goes up your spine and out the top of your head, see it just leave out the top of your body and just go into the sky, the morning sky. And then see it circle back around one last time. This time very, very deep from the center of earth. That very grounding energy coming up through the bottom of your feet. And this time as that breath moves up through the bottom of your feet and your legs, see it going like scrubbing bubbles through your whole body, taking with it anything that doesn't belong to the truth of who you are as a perfect being in the light of God. And as it goes through, it's like it's turning on little lights all through your body, up through your knees and your hips and your spine. Surrendering over all those scrubbing bubbles, just removing anything that might be causing tension or stress or whatever that might be holding you back. Let's surrender it over. And now see that light go way out into the universe, and then taking with it anything that is unlike your positive light, and then transmuting it into its own light, way out into the universe, like big, giant fireworks happening way out there. You find yourself here, breathing in, feeling lighter from that grounding breath work. And now I want you to see yourself, look down at your feet. I want you to see yourself barefoot. And it's a beautifully warm, perfect day. And you're walking on a wonderfully loomy path filled with grasses and dirt, but it's soft dirt and it's wonderfully comfortable on your feet. And I want you to see yourself before a meadow, great big meadow. And the sky is blue with a couple puffy clouds. And this meadow has grass that's just about knee high. And you see the grass just moving in the wind so beautifully. You see butterflies darting in and out, little birdies, you can hear them. There's little bunnies running around and frolicking. And I want you to walk into the middle of the field, this beautiful meadow. You can see for miles, just for miles. And it's so wondrous. It smells so great. The warmth of the sun on your arms. And I want you to sit down in the middle of the meadow. I want you to look at your feet. And all of a sudden, it's as though your feet are planted in the ground. All of a sudden, they're covered with beautiful, rich soil. And you look down at your legs, and they're like a stem. And then all of a sudden, you reach out your arms, and they are leaves. And you realize that you've become a flower. You're a wonderful, beautiful flower. Oh, it feels so great. You're so enriched by the soil. The sun is just kissing the leaves. You feel the dew on the petals of your flower. Now take a look at your flower. What color is your flower? What type of flower are you? Breathe in. What's it like being that flower? So safe, so free, so innocent, so joyous, so filled with light. What a wonderful feeling. Breathing in, breathing in. You feel the flower moving to the wind. You look around, and all of a sudden, you look through the meadow, and there's flowers everywhere. All these beautiful flowers. Some are taller than others. Some are bigger than others. Some are dainty and sweet. And some are big and bold. But the whole meadow is just covered with flowers. And all of a sudden, you feel so a part of this wonderful meadow. You look at the other flowers, and it's like you acknowledge each other, and you realize your oneness with each other. That powerful feeling of oneness. Breathing in. Listen to what the message is that the flower offers you. What does the flower tell you? And it's just for you alone. What is the secret that this flower is telling you about you? Allow it to speak to you. Is it a message of love? Is it a message of strength? Is it a message of oneness? Whatever it is, take that message into your heart and thank the flower for the gift that it's given you. And as you look across that meadow, thank all the flowers for the gift that they bring. That beautiful sensation of oneness has become real just by being in this meadow. And so slowly you realize it's time to return. So I want you to look down at your feet. And your feet now become your feet again. And slowly you rise up. Your arms now become arms again instead of leaves. And you feel this wonderful sense of awe, of radiance and beauty, of lightness of being. And so slowly you take your steps across the meadow. So grateful for this experience, so awakened by this experience, so simple, but so profound. And then slowly you make your way back here into the sanctuary. You find yourself sitting in your chair, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. All righty. Did you have fun? Cool. All righty. Anybody want to share what kind of flowers they were? Anybody? Yep. Bill? You were a sunflower. All right. Anybody else? She was a lily. Diane was a lily. Yes, Beverly. Pardon me? A gardenia. Oh, so you smelled very strong. Beautiful. Anybody else? I was a daffodil. Today. Been other things, but okay, so this is the time if anybody would like prayer treatment or if anybody has any questions about anything. This is the time. Grant, we have right up here, Diane.
Prayer treatment for Joyce. I would like a prayer treatment for Joyce Sagan's return to total health.
Okay, so we're going to look at total health, okay? Everybody on board with that? All right, let's just know together. As I breathe in, I become aware of the oneness that I feel with God, the power that created me, that is all, for all. I am knowing that the mind of God is my mind. The health of God is my health. The power and beauty and light and love of God is mine. I'm knowing right now that whatever ideas in my consciousness hold me back from manifesting perfect health in my body, I release them now. And instead, I take on the mind that is in God, the very co-creator of my being. And I accept in my experience perfect health through every bone, atom, organ, cell. Everything about me is in perfect health right now. So I let go of the consciousness that had ill thoughts about my health, and I supplant those with wondrous, radiant thoughts of perfect health, operating through my body in all areas and all aspects. I am knowing that I bless anything that is not like perfect health and thank it for the gift that it brought me to wake up my consciousness. And I let it go right now and trust that divine healing has already happened through my body. And again, there's nothing I need to do. There's only something I need to know. And what I know is my oneness with God is the power to heal right here, right now. And it does so. Gratefully, I surrender this over to the power of law, knowing that my prayer is always answered. Always answered. So I let this be so, releasing it with joyous expectation, and together we affirm, and so it is. Okay? Anyone else? No? All right. Well, thank you all for a beautiful Wednesday. This was awesome. Thank you. You bunch of flowers, you. Okay, thanks. Go out and be awake, alert, and alive, okay? Thanks. Have a good one. Thank you.